time with family, staying active, doing what you love. We understand how important it is to live your best life, even as times are changing. At Holzer, we strive to help every patient achieve.
Welcome to the newest episode of the Talk of the Town podcast, presented by Holzer Health System. I'm Josh Wellington, Executive Director of the Gay County Chamber of Commerce, and joining me today from Profound Home Solutions, Josh Kipp. Josh, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, Josh. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Josh is one of our newest members here at the Chamber, and does things a little bit differently when it comes to work, home contracting and things like that. And we're going to touch on a lot of things along those lines and kind of his background. So I guess to get started, let's first talk about the business. Profound Home Solutions. You told me when you came in, you're not just a contractor. You've got it's a wider array than that. So you went with a home solutions kind of a mentality. What are some of the services first that someone can expect from Profound?
From Profound, you can get something as simple as the lights changed out in your house, to a new roof, to siding and windows, to plumbing, heating and air. I've got a wide range of contractors that work with me, and we'd just be happy to bring your home up to pace.
So you don't always, you're a little bit different than what people would think of as a traditional contractor. So you have your team, but then you also have other teams that you bring in under your supervision. So maybe your team is working on a bathroom renovation, but you've got a plumbing team that comes in. Maybe there's a tile team that comes in, and you're kind of if you think of it as an orchestra, you're the maestro. You're making sure that everything is perfect while you're getting these people here. But at the same time, you're saving people money in the long run.
Well, yes, with that, I like to make sure that I have the correct professionals in the correct spot. I can do stuff like plumbing, but I feel a lot better, and I believe a homeowner would feel a lot better if I bring in somebody that's licensed to do so.
So, in full disclosure, Josh has done a couple of jobs for me at my house and has done fantastic work, and I would recommend him to anybody who would ask. A little bit about your background. So how did you get started in I guess the home repair contracting world?
Well, my first job out of school was actually framing for a guy. I built a lot of houses in Proctorville under the guy, and he's a really good contractor. He taught me a lot, and I got to a point to where I would be left alone on projects.
Right.
I'd work for a series of people. In the trades, you can't just work for one person. Things will get slow. You'll have to go other places.
Right.
So I picked up a series of different skills, and more and more, I was either running crews or being left on my own. So eventually I started taking my own jobs, and that's how I got where I'm at today.
So we talked a little bit before coming on. You got your initial training in a trade school before kind of going out into the labor force. We have a great vocational program with Buckeye Hills here, and the services that they offer, I feel like, are unmatched around the area. What are some of the benefits of someone who goes into, whether it's while they're in high school and they're going through the trades program, or adult learning situations where they're learning skills? What's the importance that you see in trade schools and kind of what they offer to people going through their program?
I believe that trade schools offer a good foundation for you to be ready to learn. They will teach you the basics. I have been doing this for almost 12 years, and I still learn stuff today.
Right.
So it's impossible to think that you're going to come out of there knowing everything, but you will come out of there knowing enough to where you're not going to be a headache for the guy that's paying you to learn.
Right. So, with these trade schools, I think for a long time, there's been a stigma attached to, well, that person went to a trade school and didn't go to college, or this person didn't go completely through their traditional high school path, and they went their last 2 years to a vocational school, and it was kind of looked at subpar, I think, and I think you can see that in recent years. It has become more prevalent and more like people are looking at it now as, whether it's welding or building trades or diesel mechanics. There's a lot of money to be made, good livings, and opportunity to travel and things like that for people who go through these trade schools. And I think that the stigma of it has kind of changed over the last few years. Have you seen that as well?
I have seen that, and even if you wouldn't be looking to join a trade or do that for your 9 to 5, just saving money around your own home.
Right. Keep like me having to call you on a Sunday.
Well, yeah, having to call me on a Sunday.
I agree, and you mentioned something. We had lunch before this, and you mentioned the 5 to 9. And that's something I truly believe in. I have a DJ business on the side and do a little bit of this and that, here and there. And a lot of people have what we call the side hustle. And I think that the goal should be to have the 5 to 9 to support that 9 to 5.
Well, yes, you're correct there. My day does not stop when I leave a job site. I'm lining up my next day. I am going through my head and thinking of everything that was done that day. Mm-hmm. Before, when I was working for other people, I was researching, how do I get my license? Who do I get in contact to make sure I have insurance? How do I get comp? Those are things that at 9 to 5 I wasn't getting paid for, but I still had to work 9 to 5 to pay my bills.
Right. It's that 5 to 9, that hustle. Whether it's to, in your case, planning your next job or getting bids out or whatever the case may be, or if it's maybe you work in an office environment and then on the weekends you're out at yard sales and flea markets looking for stuff to flip online. And then you're taking that 5 to 9 or sometimes 5 to midnight even, and you're putting stuff on eBay, or you are, building an online merchant business where you're selling clothing or whatever the case may be. And it's a little off topic with what you do in your business, but that 5 to 9 grind is something, and I think we're seeing a lot more of it, and so much so that we're actually going to do in May a seminar during our lunch and learn process that we're doing called My Hobby's Now a Jobby, and now what do I do? Because a lot of these people, you start out with these side hustles, and then the next thing you know, it's kind of a job. Your 5 to 9 is now turned into a second job. And do you need an LLC, or do you need employees? And if so, what are the things that I have to do if I have an employee now? Like, this was what I did as a hobby, and now I'm making $30,000 a year at it, and I've got to figure it out. So I know that's kind of a little off, but you're right. You come out of these, even coming out of college, not just trade schools, you look at it and you think, okay, I've got the knowledge. I know what I'm doing. And then about day 3, if not before, you're like, that wasn't in the book. So now you're spending that 5 to 9, or later if you have kids, because you got to get them from 5 to 9 is parent time, and then you've got, they go to bed, and then you're on the laptop or tablet or whatever. But you're always learning. You can't expand or grow as a business or anything else, even as a person, without having that extra time allotted, I think.
I believe you're completely right. It goes back to what I said a few minutes ago. You never stop learning. If you stop learning, you stop growing. And to anybody who's going to start something, you're going to struggle. There's going to be pressure.
Right.
But you've got to persevere, and you got to do what you tell people you're going to do. If you make a deal with somebody, even if you're going to take a loss on it, you made that deal. You stick through with that deal until it's completed, and you learn on your next one. Okay, maybe I have to charge a little more for this.
Right. You have made it a point to, first of all, you've said, I want, and I'm working on trying to help you facilitate this, but you want to give these trade school kids a chance. If you've got somebody that fits, if they have somebody in their program that fits what you need, and you can help that person to grow immediately, even while they're in school, you're open to that. What makes you? You're very adamant about this program. Like we've talked about it several times. What makes you? Like, what is the ultimate goal in that?
The ultimate goal in that is to get more of the youth into the trades, because there is this stigmatism that my high school history teacher, we butted heads because she had different political views than what I do,
right,
which was unimportant. And she told me one day that I was going to end up digging ditches. Well, she wasn't too far off, but
right.
I probably make double her salary now.
Right.
So
and you hear stories like that a lot, and I think it's because of that we had a deficit in trade. In the trades program, you oftentimes can't find a plumber or an electrician that's available or not 3 and 4 weeks away and being able to fit you in. And I think a lot of that was people didn't go into the trades because there was a negative look on it. So then they went a traditional route or didn't go into any higher education. And then that just starts setting people backward. It sends them backwards. And I agree with you. I think that the trades are very, very important. And you operate your business, we talked about it a little bit, but you operate your business just a little bit different. You have two goals. You told me we've talked about two goals that you have. One, you want, well, I guess more than two. One is you want obviously quality work. Secondly, you want your employees to make a good wage. It's not all about what the company does. And then thirdly, you want the homeowner to realize it doesn't always have to cost an enormous amount of money. Now, sometimes you're going into projects, obviously, that are costly. But I think sometimes people don't get things fixed in their home because they're afraid to get the estimate, let alone to have it done. So you're doing things a little bit different.
Well, yes, I want to pay my help good, because I don't want them to be like so many generations ahead. Only the boss was making money.
Mm-hmm.
When they had to watch Dad or Grandpa struggle to make ends meet to drive a beat up truck. Now, if that happens with somebody that's working with me, it's because they like to spend their money.
Right.
But I'm trying to keep homeowners happy as well. I don't need to charge you 3 times the material and the material.
Right.
I don't need that much. My helpers, we don't need that much. Just because I could try to get $20,000-$30,000 out of a $10,000 or $15,000 job, that it doesn't set right with me. I actually did car sales for a little bit and got out of it because of how predatory I felt like that was. I want people to be happy. I want people's lives to improve as far as their home goes. I want their equity to go up. When people see one of my trucks, I want them to smile.
Right. That makes good sense. And you like to, we've talked about some different local suppliers and different things that you may be able to take, to use to your benefit. And, you and I have talked, every time we've been around each other, we talk about the importance of giving back and helping the community as a whole. It's not every day that you run into somebody with that opinion. I mean, yeah, everybody wants to have a great community, but you're steadfast in the giving back to the community side of this. What pushes that?
What pushes that is I lived in the Chicagoland area for a while, and because there's so much economy up there, because there's so much going on, there's more money circulating.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates more opportunity for everybody around. More businesses are opening. That means more jobs. That means more people can afford things.
Right.
And in my opinion, if I put into the community, I will help get our community one step closer to having more economy. It's not
Right.
just our community I want to help. I want to try to do this as far span as I can reach out into the Appalachian area.
That is, I mean, it's commendable that you take that approach. I'm wondering, so in, let's say, the last 12 months, maybe a little bit more, material prices have skyrocketed. They've come down some, but not near where they were pre-pandemic, or pre-ice storm in Texas. I know it had an effect on any kind of like glued board, your plywood and your stuff like that. How difficult does that make it with your mindset of how you like to do business? How difficult has that been on you the last couple of years to reach your goal of keeping the price down, but at the same time, I mean, you're paying these exorbitant prices for everything from caulking to plywood.
Well, to be honest, where I'm different from other contractors is a lot of contractors would try to put all those costs on the homeowner. I try to split it.
Right.
I don't. I'm not so worried about my overhead that I'm gonna shoot a bid that's unrealistic. I did a bathroom probably about 3 to 4 weeks ago now, and the previous guy that came in there that quoted the bathroom quoted it at $30,000. Between the material and my labor, I was able to get it done for under 10.
Wow. I guess what I've never understood, and this is not, I don't want this to be taken as a bash toward how people do things. If it's your business, you price things how you want. I don't tell you how much it's going to, you don't tell me how much to charge to DJ your wedding, and I won't tell you how much to charge, for this. But so let's say 3 years ago, materials were, let's just say this one item was $100. So then it was traditionally the labor would be $100. You know what I mean? Like that sounds about right. It was labor equals material.
Well, smaller companies do that. A lot of times where you end up with a company charging more than what the material costs for the labor is when you're offered a guarantee. Because that provides a little bit extra to where if something does happen,
right,
the company that you hired to come in isn't going to go bankrupt, and they're going to be able to fix your issue.
Well, I guess my question goes to though, so let's say it was 1-to-1, and then let's say the price went up 100%, so now it's 200, and so now if we're still 1-to-1, now it's 200 on labor. But it's still the same labor, same amount of hours as it was when it cost $100. You see what I'm saying? And you come in now and you take that into consideration.
Oh, absolutely.
Whereas before it was, if the equation is labor equals material, then as material went up, so did labor. But it's still the same amount of man hours, if that makes sense.
Well, see, what I was talking about with that is instead of it being 200 for my labor, that's where I split that difference with the customer.
Right.
It's 150.
Gotcha.
Because with material going up, everything else has went up too.
Oh, absolutely.
Fuel, lunch, everything.
Right.
Sadly, everything is going up. But I don't expect the homeowner to pay extra just because I can.
Right. What if you had to pick? Because you've done, like you said, framing, everything, along the line, bathroom stuff, roofing. As a contractor, what's your wheelhouse? When you get like I know, like if I'm DJing in my company, and my company is much smaller than what you're doing, but if I get a call that I'm doing a wedding for 30-year-old people, I know I'm going to enjoy that. It's going to be right in my genre of music. We're going to have a good time. As opposed to if I'm doing a retirement party or a prom or something that's the music's not as familiar, or it's just not, it's background noise kind of thing. what is a job that when you get it, you're like, all right, this is my wheelhouse. This is the jobs. These are the jobs that. This is why I got into this.
Well, that's a bit of a tough question because what I enjoy and what I just knock out of the park is painting and drywall. But where I make my money and I'm quick is roofs.
Gotcha. So, but that proves a good point though, that in your instance, it's not just the money that you enjoy out of this. So you're saying, I make the money and the quick turnaround on a roof, but what I enjoy and get the satisfaction out of is the drywall and paint.
Oh yes, you can watch a room completely transform with a good semi-gloss paint, and you can just watch it completely transform a room, and it's a fun process to watch. I enjoy doing it.
And people listening can't see this, but when I mention that, like the smile on your face, you can tell just by talking about it that the painting and drywall side is a passion. The roofing is a necessity.
Yeah, I feel the same really about all of it. I just enjoy the process of it. I've done other things when things got slow and I was working for other contractors. I've done some factory work and stuff, but I just kept getting called back to do what. Well, this is my gift. I tell my kids all the time, you have talents and then you have your gift. This is what my gift is. I'm good at restoring houses.
Right on. And I think a lot of people lose track of, they think gift and talent are the same. And I think that you can learn a talent. You got to have a little bit of it, but you can enhance a talent. A gift is a gift.
Well, yeah, it's just something that you're naturally good at.
Right. I mean, you become a talented guitar player. Or you can be a gifted guitar player.
Well, for example, one of my children is in motocross, and he's talented. But when I was explaining that to him, he was like, I'm pretty gifted at motocross. I'm like, well, buddy, you come in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place. Like, he knows another kid, and I'm not going to bring up his name. Right. But that kid's getting first. He's going to nationals and stuff like that. I said, sadly, and I'm your parent, so I'm not going to lie to you, motocross is a talent of yours. Your buddy, he's got a gift. He doesn't even have to try it. He comes out, and it's as easy as breathing to him.
Yeah, I agree. You've got, I try to think of, you pick any country singer or whoever, stands on stage with a guitar. Let's say Jason Aldean, because that's the first person popped in my head. He can stand on stage and play a guitar and play a few chords. He has the talent to play guitar. Eric Clapton is gifted. Like, Eric Clapton can make a guitar do things that nobody before him was able to do. That's a gift. And I think that when people realize if they can utilize things a couple different ways. You can follow your talent and work really hard and enhance that, and maybe that's what you enjoy, but I think you get more out of your gift. I really do. But you have to be able to differentiate between the two.
Well, yeah, and even being gifted in something, you're gonna struggle. There are
Absolutely.
times where the pressure is on.
Absolutely.
But it is definitely a lot easier and a lot more rewarding than going with just a talent. Talents are good for hobbies.
Perfect. Absolutely. They're good for hobbies. And I think if you can find a career in the area of your gift, and everybody's got one. It takes some people a little bit longer to find it. Look, I truly feel that personally, my gift that I want to use to give back is being able to do the thing. It falls perfectly into what my career is now. Working in a nonprofit situation, giving back to the community, organizing events, fundraising, sales kind of thing, but not in the pressure of a former sales position. I was a talented salesperson. I mean, I could sell things. But it's getting that talent into the right area, and now I can utilize it in different ways. And I think that now that I've been able to get my career in the same path, it makes things so much easier. When you're I've worked a lot of different jobs. I mean, I've worked in a hospital setting. I worked driving a dump truck, working for the highway department. I mean, all those things were careers. But it took me to the age of, in my 40s to realize this is where you need to be. Like, it just kind of fell into place.
Well, that's something I've noticed, and I had a similar situation. I've been through some jobs now. But that being said, I could probably go back to any one of them I wanted to.
Right.
I went through those jobs because I had something burning inside me that told me I was bigger than what I was doing.
Right. And I'm the same way. I didn't know what at the time. As I'm, spreading cinders and plowing roads in a dump truck in the middle of winter. I knew that wasn't where I was supposed to be, but I didn't know at the time where that place was that I was supposed to be. So it took some deviations and look, it took some struggle and some tough times to finally get to where I feel like I'm comfortable and able to make a difference. And now you're doing the same thing. You work through these jobs and work for other people and have that desire to make a difference and do it on your own and in your own way. And now that's what you're doing.
Well, yeah, you have to take that leap. And then another thing I guess I'd want people to know is even if you're working for yourself like I am, you always have bosses.
Oh, absolutely. I have 13. Like, you can't, if you come in my office, you're not going to see them. But once a month, I see them. And I have to answer for everything that we've done. Everybody, you always will, you're right, you have a boss. And in your case, it's the person who hires you. Here, I've got a board of directors. Yeah, you're never going to get out from under that. You're going to answer to someone in some way, shape, or form. Very few people, even your people like Jeff Bezos or, Elon Musk, they still answer to a board of directors and that kind of thing. I mean, everybody has a boss. If you don't, then you're probably not going to get as far as what you may think.
Yeah, so just use people, not
in a negative way. You're right. You're right.
Negative way. Every opportunity that you'll be presented, it comes from somebody.
Networking. It's all about networking.
And that I've spent the last 12 years building up a network, and finally to a point where I'm putting it to use. And this year's been good, and I plan on keeping the ball rolling that way.
Well, we've talked about everything about the business, but we haven't talked about how to get a hold of you to get a quote or talk about a job. You're on Facebook, Profound Home Solutions, on Facebook, and they can reach you through Messenger, and I'm sure your phone number is on there as well. I highly recommend them. This is I think the 27th or 28th edition of this podcast, and I've never came out and said, like, I recommend this, because I always, we're in the middle. We recommend all of our members, but I can personally say in the last few weeks, Josh has done a couple of jobs for me. He's done a tremendous job. I'm happy. My wife, more importantly, is happy. So we got things done, around the house, and that's, when Josh joined and joined the chamber, he's talked a lot about, wanting to be involved, and we're happy to help him get the word out about what he's doing. So, Josh, we appreciate you coming in. Anything you want to wrap with in the last 30 seconds? Like I said, I encourage people to get a hold of you for their projects.
If you have a project, feel free to reach out. If you don't have a Facebook, at both the Athens and Gallia Sherwin-Williams, I do have cards in there.
Or you can give us a call here at the chamber. We've got your information as well. So if you can't get a hold of Josh, call us at the chamber office at 740-446-0596. Man, we appreciate you coming in. Look forward to having you back soon. And like I said, if you guys need anything, he's the guy. Don't forget you can listen to the podcast every Sunday morning on WJEH-FM during the 8 o'clock hour, or catch us on our Facebook page every Friday afternoon. Until next time, thanks for listening.